started, if you, and let me caveat that by saying, if you are going to use one of these crop plans, and if you are going to sell at farmer markets, these are things, basics, that you're going to need. You'll see in the column called required at each farm, some question marks there, right? The question marks are to indicate, I don't know if every farm is going to need that. So the first one is if you need CSA boxes. If you're not doing a CSA, you won't need boxes, right? Because CSA boxes are most CSAs, not all of them, package every week's stuff for each person in a small box, right? They're very specifically sized boxes. You wouldn't use them for anything else. So if you're not going to do a CSA, toss that one off the list. Other things like seedling supplies. You might not do seedlings. You want to keep it cheap the first couple of years. Don't do seedlings. They're expensive. You got to have a space to do them in. With climate control, you got to have thermometers. You've got to have heat mats. You've got to have some kind of incubators. You have to have a heat source there. You've got to have potting soil, trays, watering early in the year. You got to have it all set up. It can get expensive.
You need to be able to monitor things day and night, especially like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when it really gets cold. Make sure they don't freeze up on you in the springtime. So it's a real hassle. People cannot do seedlings for you because you can't count on them being up at that time of night. You can buy seedlings from places where they're already established, but just to have some friends grow seedlings, and sometimes that's too much to ask of people. Yes, they really got it together.
Diane, are you going to do the seeding thing? You want to mention that?
I think I put a flyer in each of the folders. It's going to be March the 15th from 9 to 1.
So, Diane, you want to
Go
just
ahead,
say
make it
what
up.
At Booston South, we're going to have a seed planting day. And you can bring your trays and your seeds, and we're going to plant whatever you want to start planting and have it stored in the greenhouse where you get to come and check on it or whatever. We're going to have it's little heaters, little greenhouses inside the big greenhouse. And the little ones are going to have heaters at night because in the daytime it's warm.
So anybody want to get a jump start on their seedlings, this is an opportunity to do so.
Yes, it's open for adults and children. It's going to be $5 for adults and children.
some good seeds. And the good seeds.
Can we go on all the questions? Let's get through,
Let's get to the
Yeah,
last
let's
one.
get through the hold that thought because, yeah, we're gonna address that.
And what is not on here, on this source list, is where to buy your seeds, because that information is in the actual crop plans, right? Johnny's and Fed are the ones I recommend. There's a few others.
Yeah, you have it in there.
But what is in here are sources. If you look at this column right here, you'll see my suggested places where you ought to be able to get those things. And in some cases, like if you look at the very first one up there, it's probably different on your copy, but the first one on mine is crates and trays, right? You're going to, no matter what you grow, if you're going to wash it and get it to market in good form, you need crates and trays to pick the stuff into, to wash it into, to store it into, right? One of the ways you can get them is you can salvage them from nurseries that sell bulbs, because all the bulbs come in these really great, they're called bulb crates, amazingly enough. And they're really sturdy, they're plastic, they last forever, they're a nice size, they drain, they got holes in them so they drain. Or you can buy them, there's other places you can buy them from nurseries and nursery stores. But that's a valuable column because it tells you what for each one of these things that you're going to need. The cheapest place that you can get it that I know of. I suggest how many of them you're going to need, since in the case of scissors, you're going to need, if you're going to do greens, or actually if you're going to do most things, you're going to need scissors. And you're not going to need one pair, you're going to need a few pairs. Because let me tell you, if your scissors break in June and it's a harvest day, you don't have time to go to Walmart to get a pair of scissors. You got to have a few pairs of scissors right now. And they got to be food made. Yeah. Don't tell me that. Any questions in particular about this information? This is good information for you. You should study it. No, coolers, you're going to take, especially greens, but pretty much if you're going to take anything to market besides tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchinis that don't have to be refrigerated, you're going to need to keep them cold at market. Transporting them to market and keeping them high quality at market requires keeping them cold. The only way I know how to do that without buying a refrigeration truck, which you should not do, because that's a really dumb thing to do. They're really expensive,
they break all that.
and they're way more than you need. You buy, they're called hunting coolers. They're big 60-quart coolers, right? Now, if you're gonna be doing this work on your own, don't buy yourself a big cooler that you can't manage on your own. You gotta think about that stuff.
Well, they sell them now with wheels on them.
Yeah, they got wheels.
They got wheels. They're made for everybody.
No, but and some things you might say, oh, $60 for a cooler, I'm not paying that. I'm not gonna suggest anything to you on these lists that you don't need and that isn't worth spending money on.
If you show up at the market with wilted greens, you're gonna lose. Nobody's gonna buy wilted greens. They're just not gonna buy it. Even if you just picked it that morning.
So I do want to talk just a couple minutes about farmers market stuff because I have some information about that for you as well. Any more questions about this?
Line 26.
Compost? Is that what you're looking at?
No, that is BT Progressive.
BT is, let's see, my brain still works at this hour.
can't see it till you rinse it in the water.
Yep.
You got little green worms in there.
They're green. They blend in with the products. They are green, but they start off as cute little white butterflies. You're like, oh, look at the pretty butterflies.
That's what I
Yes, the white butterflies are the cabbage moths, and they are notorious. They lay caterpillars that blend in exactly the same color as the crop. You can't see it. Until you have to go and look. They can't see it. And they'll eat your stuff alive. Just eat it all.
So when you talk about high quality green, you see whole milk, that's not high quality green. No, it's in the dogs.
There you go.
So those aren't high quality. And the yellow ones too. The white, the yellow sulfurs too. But it's late now. You said you killed them, but they already did that. They were
So, did you guys get this handout?
Did we get that?
Diane, did you print that one?
Is the rest in there?
Oh, whoops.
Okay, well,
I'll have it for tomorrow.
you're gonna get this one.
Okay.
This is a good one. This is, the only other way I have to communicate with you is to write down my thoughts and put it in this handout. They're called tips, right? There's lots of information in here. One of the pages, or one of the printouts is called, I've lost my down page over here, is called All About Marketing. And I want to talk to you about marketing because I created a table for you. Okay, so here's the page. These are all of my tips that I have for you about doing farmers markets, right? Choosing markets, the application process, very important, how to display your stuff. Now, you're going to have somebody come and talk to you some more about market stuff. I don't know who that person is, and I don't know how honest he is. So, I got to get my 2 cents in. I'm also trying to open and see if it won't do it for some reason. It's frustrating. It's trying to open this program. It's basically a table of. It's still spinning. You want to play? So basically what it is, it's a table, not unlike tables that you're used to looking at now, that gives you recommendations of markets, what farmers markets to pursue in the Chicago area. Now I focused on markets that are south of the city because you are so far south of the city, it's not worth you driving all those north side markets when there's good south markets, right? But I was not familiar with many of them, so I had to do a bunch of research. So what I did is I just documented all of my research. Who to contact, what day those markets are on, what times the markets are, how to get an application, and then any notes about, where exactly the market is, and any notes about what that market is or might be. So there's a section of recommended, flat out recommendations, like check out these markets, these are going to be good markets for you. And when I say good markets for you, what I mean is you will get the prices that you need to get there. If you bring high quality stuff consistently every week and build a customer base, you will get the customers at those markets and you will get the prices at those markets. There's a second section that's markets that are generally they're smaller markets or lesser known markets, markets that are just starting up. Like there's one in Flossmoor. Anybody know what Flossmoor is? It's a tiny little market. They're dying for vegetable vendors. They are begging for vegetable vendors. That's a good place for you to get started. You're a new vegetable vendor, they're a new market. Generally, I don't suggest anybody trying new markets because a lot of times they don't do the work of getting the word out and getting the customers there. I mean, it's the market's job to get the customers there. It's your job to keep them coming back. If the market isn't getting the customers there, then you've got produce that's and if they don't have application materials online, so I got your phone numbers. Those are the phone numbers you need to call to get your applications. Number one tip for doing farmers markets, do not sign up for a farmers market unless you are committed to doing that farmers market. You're going to be there every day, you're going to be there on time, you're going to follow every single one of their rules. And if you don't do that, you will not be asked back. You will have a bad reputation because they all talk to each other. And if you happen to get any customers, meanwhile, they're going to be real disappointed. And they'll recognize you at the next market you go to. So make no commitments that you cannot live up to. And that's the best thing to do. Before, too bad. You kind of have this season, but you also want to grow this season. But, if we had an infinite amount of time, you would take this whole season and you go visit farmers markets. And then, then you know what you got. You know how many people are going there. I do have some numbers for some of the farmers markets. They were able to tell me what their average visitor number was on market day. And some of them are small, and some of them are huge. The ones in green are all big markets, except for Hyde Park. It's a small market, but you're going to get the prices there. And it's an odd day. So most of the really good markets are going to be Saturdays, which aren't going to work for you this year. You might not be ready for these really, these are highfalutin, big spending markets. And they've got good, most of them have good produce vendors there already, so competition's high. Just because competition is high does not mean you should not do the market. If it's not saturated, if the customer base isn't saturated, it's still a good market for you. Maybe not this year, maybe not till you get good, but don't let competition scare you. Green City Market in the city, anybody know it? There's so many produce vendors there, and everybody sells out. It's like nuts. So don't let competition scare you.
There's only one missing on here, and that's the Seaway Market, which is a small market. I mentioned that before about Seaway National Bank, and that has on 87th Street. It's part of the bank, and it's on Wednesdays. And Claudette, herself, Harrison will be here talking to you guys. And that's the one that we specifically set up between Pembroke Farmer Family Farmers and Seaway National Bank. So they expect us to be there every year. And they also are willing to invest in stipends. You come there, you get a stipend on being there. So, as long as you're coming here under the Pembroke Farmer Family banner, there are no overhead costs for that.
Is that exactly Trinity also?
Trinity as well. Trinity is, we also established a market with Trinity. Yeah, so Trinity Church is not on this here. And that's when you have a couple of churches. You have Trinity Church, and you also have, I can't remember the churches. Fernwood. No, not Fernwood. This one is, it's right off 557. Near Flossmoor. It's the other mega church, the 10,000 church. They come out here all the time. New Faith. They do a lot of community work here in Pembroke Township. And they work with us, with the farmers. They want us to participate in their market as well. So, yeah, a couple, 2,000 churches right there. If you want me, you didn't know. No, it's an application to work here.
That's how it goes, because we want all the perks. We need all the perks.
But no, it's an application to work. That's all I have to say about that. If you're interested, it's just an application to work. And you have, there's a couple other things actually. There is a little bit more to it than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I
Being a Pembroke Farmer family member, one of the rules of being a Pembroke Farmer family member is you have to have land in Pembroke and live in Pembroke. There's a little slight caveat to it. Now, I know that there may be exceptions for the people involved in the program, but the rule is you have
Milt. If you want to get fancy, go with BCS. It's a lot of money for a lot of tool that you probably won't use. Unless if you're going to get big and fancy, you need a good BCS. And Kamal can tell you more about those because he knows about them. But if all you're going to do is these kind of croplands, whatever, you need a good professional grade Troy Milt.
How much do they run?
What?
How much do those cost?
Right,
36.
I actually have that information, so where did I put that?
So it's on there?
Yeah,
This is not-
it's on number 35, 2,700.
For Troyville,
For Honda or Troy.
2,700?
Yeah. They're definite investments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,000